All right, students, so the next part of this we're going to look at is what we mean by a definition of a function. So we're going to talk about functions quite a bit. First of all, let me read this definition, then I'll explain what it is. So it says a function is a correspondence between two sets of elements such that to each element in the first set, there corresponds, and here's the key word, one and only one element in the second set. Okay, the first set's called the domain. The set of correspondings in the second set is called the range. So here's kind of what this says. So the domain of a function is the set of the first elements. When you're graphing, that is all the values of x. And x is a measurement of left and right when you plot points, like we've learned to do. The range of the function is the set of all second elements. In a Cartesian plane, a graphing system, in 2 dimensions, that would be the set of all y values. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is a mapping diagram and kind of show you how you can tell if something's a function. Okay, it's actually pretty simple. So the idea is domain would be all of these numbers. The range would be all these numbers here. So you have a given number, then you're cubing it. Okay, so we did that a little while ago. We did this same graph like this. So you ask this question, basically. This is what you always ask. Does each x, and I'm going to just define it this way, each x have exactly one y? Okay, that's the question you ask yourself. Okay, so the -2 has one y. The -1 does. The 0 does, and so forth. So that is a function. That's the way it looks. And you're going to ask that same question on every problem. Okay, same thing here. We can call this all the x's. We can call all the y's. Look at each x and see if it has one y. One arrow only, so that goes one place. -1 just has one y, the 1. 0 has 1. 1 has one value, and 2 has one value. So that's a yes. Okay. You look at the next one, the domain, you can think of x, you can think of the range as y. So we're good here. The number 0 maps. We say it maps to one value, but we got a problem here. That one has 2 y values, so it's no good. That's not a function. Same thing here. That one has 2 y values, so it's no good. Okay, so that's not a function. So it's actually pretty easy to spot that if you can find one number in your domain or one element in your domain that creates 2 or more items in your range, and it's not a function. So that's the idea. Okay? All right. So here's kind of the idea. Well, usually we call the inputs, this is the domain, and then the outputs, you can think of that as the range. Okay, like this. So would this be a function? Okay, every element in the domain, or every input has one output. You can think of it that way if that's helpful to you. Every input gives you one output. That's a good way to think of that. Okay, so what I'll have you do is I'll have you pause, and let's say I want you to do these 2 problems, go to the next page, and do the 1 through 4. So I'm going to go ahead and have you pause here, and when you're just going to be telling me yes or no, is it a function? The domain, you would just be listing. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you on this one what I want you to do. The domain, the way you go ahead and do this is you just list those elements. It doesn't really matter what order you list them in, and then you list that in a set brace like that. The range would be all the y's, so you would say set brace 0, 10, 20 like that. Okay, is this a function? You ask this question. Does every input have exactly one output? Yes. So that's a function. Okay, so I want you to do that on all of these problems. Pause and check. Ready to check, just resume. Okay, so go ahead and let's check and see if you're on the right track here, and then that's all we're going to do in this short video. Okay, yeah, this is a function. Every input has one output. Okay, These three guys really are kind of into Kathy, okay? But that's okay, all right? That's fine. That's a function. Ken has one girl he's got his eyes on. Carl, so what if it's all the same girl? It's still a function, okay? All right, the domain would be the guys, Ken, Carl, and Kathy. And the range, Kathy, whoa, 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 whoa. Come on, teacher. Lewis. All right, I guess I have my eye on Kathy too. Okay. Okay, that's better. All right. So that's your answer. Okay, next page. Okay, on problem 3, you should have this, and problem 4. This is not a function. Okay, so Ken is kind of a bad boy. All right, so Ken has his eye on 3 different girls. Now, that's not a function. Okay, this input has 3 outputs. Okay, so that's no good. Okay, that's bad. He's a bad boy. All right. So 3 timing man. Okay, the domain would be Ken, and then the range would be Mary, Barbie, and Jill. Okay, that's a good way to think of that. Okay, and the next one, okay, is this a function? Yeah, it's a function. Every input has 1 output. You would have to have like the 2 go into something like 4, then it wouldn't be a function. You just have to find that. So every input has 1 output. Domain would be this. The domain's just all of the x's. Okay, generally you put that in a numerical order. The range would be these. Now you don't have to write 2, 4, 2, 4, 2. There's only 2 elements in the range, so you just write it that way. Okay, so that's it as far as what I want you to be able to do is given a set and a relation, being able to tell if it's a function. All right.